Coming to you live from the heart of Hong Kong, joined by the amazing observer, Rafi, the great caster, Grammy, and the man, the myth, and the legend himself, Jeffrey. We have Nightmare Phoenix and Empyrean from the Philippines and Vietnam interchange, and this is the grand finals of Updraft week number 5.
This tournament is co-organized with Cyberport, the go-to creative digital community with a cluster of technology and digital content tenants in Hong Kong. This tournament is also sponsored by Vertigear, the top gamer chair brand trusted by many esports teams. Long hour, no back pain, comfortable chairs for home office and gaming. Get yours now at vertigear.com. That's vertagear.com. As well as CoderShop. Purchase app and game credits or vouchers online and choose from the most convenient payments method in the Philippines. With CoderShop, you have instant and guaranteed delivery.
And for those of the folks watching at home, we do have 2 giveaways ongoing right now. Everyone is welcome to join our VP giveaway worth $200, sponsored, of course, by Coda Shop. We also have a Vertigear chair up for grabs for our viewers residing in Singapore and Brunei. You have a chance to win a Vertigear chair. That's right, for absolutely free. Just type exclamation point giveaway in chat, and the instructions will be brought up there for you. Now, Grammy, we have 2 teams, amazing teams going at it in a best of 3 tonight. It's going to be between Nightmare Phoenix and EMPYREAN. And I gotta say, I'm super excited for these 2 teams. EMPYREAN last night, they took out one of the best performing teams this week in what you could say is a mini upset, but they were just so coordinated last night.
Yeah, if for those viewers who didn't know, who didn't tune in last night, they
Mhm.
actually beat Word.exe. And First Love, who was an ex-Bleed player, was actually on that team. So
Mm,
the fact that they did beat that team actually shows off their coordination as a team as a whole.
yeah. And Nightmare Phoenix, of course, they're no slouches themselves. Well, they did stumble a little bit in the second game of the semifinal match between against Ace Esports. They did bounce back from a 2-10 scoreline. They went 13-10. They didn't even let Ace Esports win a single round in the second half in Breeze, which is of course one of the maps that we're playing in as well tonight. Let's talk about that a little bit. The map pick, the map veto is already done, and the first map we're going into is the Phoenix. Is a Phoenix pick, and we're going into Ascent where they will be starting off in the attacking side. So, what do you think of Ascent as a whole here, Grammy?
Ascent, I would say it's a pretty defender-sided map,
Yeah.
and yeah, so far from a lot of experience looking at watching games, it's been a pretty defender-sided map. So, Empyrean are actually starting on the defense for this map, and what kind of agents do you think we're gonna see on this map?
I mean, well, Ascent. Well, this is a map where people can get creative, but for the most part, people have been shying away from the double duelist and instead just going for the double initiator. But here's where it gets interesting. They do go for the Sova and into the KO, but after that, anything and everything can go by. Killjoy is slowly seeing a resurgence back here, and Ascent can absolutely lock down any site that she chooses to be in. And one of the things that can nullify that is, of course, the KO, but you can't really have Ascent without having a Sova, right? And it just brings that oppression from the attacking side to the next level, because apart from the information, you get the nullification, so to speak, of that utility of whoever you pick in the defensive side here in Ascent. Before we saw a trend, before we were in the or before we got introduced to change to controllers, rather, um we were slowly seeing a sort of rise or a standard that people went for the double controller here in, well, a lot of maps and in Ascent as well, the Viper into the Astra, right? And now that's sort of been replaced by a controller and a dedicated Sentinel. But either way, a Sova into a KO is just so oppressive that it just nullifies all that defense, whatever the case may be it a double controller, a Sentinel into a controller, or in rare cases, a double Sentinel at that. But I doubt that we're going to be seeing that this time.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since Fate was just released like the past week or so. we're
Mm.
definitely gonna see a lot of, I think, double initiated teams, especially on a map like Ascent. Fate might come to replace that Sova on this map, actually.
Yeah, but I believe Fade is not allowed here in
Yeah,
Updraft, so we won't be we won't be seeing Fade
we
this
will
time
be
around.
seeing
But
Fate.
yeah, actually, let's talk about that a little bit here, Grammy.
Mm,
What do you think of Fade in general? Because honestly, me, I am still undecided whether Fade is going to take over this meta. I mean, sure, Sova is always going to be there, no matter what you do to a Sova. Even if you nerf him to a ground, Sova's going to the ground. Sova's always going to be relevant in the meta. So a lot of times in these sort of maps, people either choose between a little bit of information on the KO or that utility pump of the breach. But having a Fade is sort of like the middle ground, right? But in
yeah.
that sense, I don't know if she really is as powerful as something like a breach or a Sova can offer. But what do you think?
I think okay, honestly, when I was
Mm,
watching her trailers, I thought she was overpowered, especially with her ultimate, which basically acts
yeah,
like a breach ultimate with that decay,
yeah,
the deafen
the
and the
defend, yeah.
trail, combining that with her prowlers, I think it can be really, really strong against certain ultimates like the Viper's Pit. But at the same time, I do think I haven't tried her personally, but I
Mm,
do think that after watching some gameplay, I don't think she's as overpowered as we all thought her to be. But definitely, I think combined with certain agents, let's say Yoru on Bind, maybe she can be super strong, especially with the Devon. You won't know if the Yoru TP'd onto site, whether he is the actual TP or the fake TP or anything. There's a
mm-hmm.
lot of things you can do with the Fade.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. If played properly by a proficient player, definitely can take over games, especially with the backup of well, on the back rather of a very coordinated team. And speaking of just that, we have two very coordinated teams this time around. But the first map being Ascent, I'm not particularly sure. I'm not particularly sure how this is going to go. Honestly, it could go either way. Both of these teams are very coordinated, especially EMPYREAN, who, as we mentioned earlier, took out one of the more coveted teams here in this week's updraft. Nightmare Phoenix, however, they're a different beast in their own right. I mean, 13-3 in a semifinal. That is rarely heard of, especially in updraft, where it's always been super close. Each series, we almost always go to game threes. In Breeze, while they did stumble a little bit on the first half, it was after that perfect performance. And things might be a little bit dicey here for Empyrean, which is actually why I'm quite surprised that Empyrean decided to go with Breeze for map number 2. Now, if we get into map number 3 for Bind, well, I don't know. I would think honestly this is a little bit favored towards word.exe, but I doubt actually that we go into round number 3. How about you, Grammy? Predictions? What do you think?
From the semifinals from yesterday, I do think
Mm,
Empyrean are more their play style is much slower than Nightmare Phoenix over here. So we're gonna see how that was is gonna match up.
mm, absolutely. Anything can happen right now. Nightmare Phoenix versus Empyrean, I would say are well very close in terms of the amount of raw skill that they have in terms of microplay. Really is gonna boil down to how they play off of each other. And while Nightmare Phoenix had a phenomenal performance on the semifinal, we I would argue that we've yet to see them play from behind, right? From a team that performs at a close level to them, which is why I would think um this is the first time that Nightmare Phoenix is going to play against Imperial as well, and I don't know. That might be what is going to make or break the performance in this best of 3 tonight, and anything could happen essentially. The first map, yeah, Ascent, as you mentioned, Grammy, very defender sided. So I would think Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Phoenix is going to have a bit of a tough time here. A bit of a yeah, tough time being on the attacking side. But it's all gonna boil down, of course, to the agent compositions. We talk about the double initiator and how they can slice things wide open. But one of the things that have been circulating around is, or what is up for debate quite recently is Jet still the best duelist here in Ascent? What do you think?
For me, I do think so because Jet,
Mm,
even though her her dash has been somewhat nerfed, I do think
yeah,
is that was a shadow buff in the fact that even after you activate the dash, you can still get back that the first reset, the cooldown the reset for your dash again,
yeah,
which led to some. We did see some double dashes in
true.
some YouTube videos, so that could be very strong actually. And I do think Ascent is a map that you want to have that mid control in, especially since mid is so long. A Jet or a Chamber will still be really good with that operator there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fear, of course, still hanging about to that jet. I mean, not surprising anymore at this time, and they shying away from the Astra, instead going for the Omen instead. And this is quite a new look here from the members of Empyrean, or actually, yeah, they did play. My mistake. They did play the Omen yesterday. It's Nightmare Phoenix who did play the Astra. So there you go. The Astra still in their side. But like I
Choose your
said earlier,
agent.
having the KO presence really is just going to nullify a lot of that utility that the Astra and the Killjoy rely on. And I don't know. I don't know how this is going to pan out today, especially against Empyrean, which is such a util heavy team. So having an Astra versus an Omen in Ascent really is a situation of just how comfortable you are in as an Astra player. I mean, Astra definitely has been downgraded now from a meta pick to a pocket pick, but being a comfort pick or someone who loves playing an Astra, definitely still viable if played properly.
Definitely. I mean, even though Astra has been her util has been nerfed, I do think she still has that global presence that a lot of other controllers don't have. So that can be really strong for maybe if you're gonna go for some lurk plays as an Astra, it can be really strong.
Yeah. Uh no chambers this time around though, and pretty much a mirror comp apart from the difference in
Yeah.
controllers. And that being said, Lemon again on that Omen, and Nightmare Phoenix XBK putting that on the Astra once more. Really love that Astra XBK, it seems like, and I would think so because he did find a lot of success with the Gravity Wells yesterday against Word.exe. Was able to shut down a lot of that aggression, especially from Mr. Dumb's side. And now we go for the default. Caster's Curse here, Grammy. And then
Oh
things
no, we
go
talked about this.
slow.
We actually just talked about
But
this.
yeah, at this point, it's sort of expected. Nightmare Phoenix and Empyrean definitely have done their homework. They know that if they play quite quickly here, they might get shut down. And Ascent is, of course, one of those maps. Just gonna end it at that. And Empyrean leaving actually just one member down in B site, one holding down Market. A lot of noise being made by Nightmare Phoenix as they rotate down into B site. 50 seconds left on the timer means that they might have to commit down here in B. But someone's pushing up from mid top here, the Omen, and actually the smoke going to reveal that positioning, so now they're all wary of it. They're not watching the flank still as they make the entry down into B side, north side. Boy closing down the doors as he gets shut down, but he gets traded out immediately by the
30 seconds
Molly
left.
from Peacekeeper. Here comes Didray from the defense, finally getting nullified, and Fear opening up B side, but at the cost of 3 of their teammates. Down to a 2 versus 2 now, and still Nightmare Phoenix yet to inch forward with the spike.
Yeah, we have XBK actually stuck in that lock position, and Lemon's actually gonna take out 16 chops. 7 seconds left on the clock. XBK has to get the plant down right now, but unfortunately is delayed enough by Fear that he is unable to get the plant down.
Yeah.
Last player standing.
A valiant effort right there for XBK, but just the door is literally closing down on him. Wasn't able to get the plant off in the end, despite it being a 2 versus 2. And a lot of it is because Empyrean really was just beautiful, was very patient on that defense. When they heard the sound cue, or when they had an inkling of what Nightmare was planning, they instantly opted for the retake because they knew, or for the rotate rather, because they know that Nightmare didn't really have a lot of options apart from just hitting B site, because they waited till the last second, and that really is the double-edged sword of going for these gets spotted out. Fear all that thought as he gets the tailwind out to safety. 1 HP now. The classic's almost enough to take care of that Jet. But they will survive, but unfortunately they don't have the liberty of having something like a Sky or a Sage to heal him up, so he's gonna play all the passively now. Peacekeeper is still 1 HP as well. As they inch forward, re-aggressing down into mid-side. Trackstar making a lot of noise from CT. Tailwinds in. Didray
No charges
gets
left.
shut down. Beautiful flush right there. The coordination for Nightmare Phoenix is looking on point tonight as they pick up mid-control for now. And the Astro Star is actually making the defense a little bit lopsided. Here's Chops pushes against it. And now, EMPYREAN with the gun advantage just mow them all down. Down to 2 XBK. Will he get the plant off this time? That's a question here, Graham.
I think they should be able to get the plant down
Yeah.
quite safely. It's just that they're gonna lose the round anyway. I do think they're gonna lose the round anyway, unless they can make a miracle happen right here. With Northside Boy actually playing not quite under heaven, but somewhat of an off angle.
Yeah.
XPK is in the Jenny position. And as the retake comes in, XPK actually finds one. Northside Boy able to find another onto AJ.
Last player
AJC.
standing.
They actually make it work in their favor.
Okay. Grimmy.
Is this just Castus Curse right now?
Yeah, you kind of jinxed them. Let's be honest here. You said there was no way that Nightmare Phoenix was gonna win that, and lo and behold, the off angle works for Northside Boy. Remember, Northside Boy, I believe, only had 10 HP going into that post plant, but he was able to get the triple dink against Prekstar. No idea where the shots were coming from. Even crouched down to try and stay safe. But phenomenal job from XBK. Only had the classic, was able to bolt down his feet down in Jenny. And because of that, nobody was able to push through. But speaking of pushing through, EMPYREAN, they all get spotted out by that. And Chops quick shut them all down, picks down 2, but here with the shorty, traded it back. Peacekeeper still here with that Vandal pushing up now, with the upgrade coming in their way. Down to 2, AJZ and Didray. The stack not really working out in their favor. And Nightmare Phoenix all aware of it as they make it rotate down into A.
Yeah, you see the push and pull of this is that the moment that they realized that EMPYREAN was actually pushing down B main, they immediately start making a move towards A, and they get the A side for free actually, which the spike is going to go down in a pretty open position, and all of them are pretty spread out across the map, while AJC and Didray are actually going to look for a pick up towards Cat, pushing into Garden now. Their first obstacle will be XBK, who is watching this position from the window. Doesn't spot them actually, but actually finds one. Good for 2 as he cleans up the round for Nightmare Phoenix.
Yeah, very telegraphed right there. They saw this. Actually, pretty good job from Nightmare Phoenix. Keeping their distance from that B main angle. Had they been closer, or had they stacked up B sites, they could have been mowed down by the sheer flow of members, or sheer pour of members from EMPYREAN in that push. But 2-1 is the scoreline here. Nightmare Phoenix, they minimize the damage. They only lose 1 off of that play. And with round number 4, the hefty investment coming in from EMPYREAN. They really invested everything into the gun. Beautiful gravity well again, but not working out for Northside Boy. It's Chops to capitalize against Fear down in
Placing
mid.
squad
The Cosmic Divide
Swarm
going
grenade
in, actually. A little bit awkward here for the Cosmic Divide. I think they used it to just go for the bait. Actually, I'm not sure about this Cosmic Divide because it's used by Nightmare.
Yeah. It completely just cuts out
Themselves.
any information that they might have.
It's,
But actually 16 Chops is in this forward position near CT.
yeah. So 16 Chops capitalize the most out of that Cosmic Divide. So still, I would guess small wins. Nightmare Phoenix. That's what they're banking on with that heavy investment on that Cosmic Divide.
Yeah.
But if anyone pushes this up, they
Swarm
have
grenade out.
they're all aware that Didray is here, but it's 16 Chops still to pick up AJC there. But let's see here if this position is actually going to pay
30
out for
seconds
16
left.
Chops. Didray gets pummeled out. There you go, 16 Chops for the 3K.
Spike
Picks up
down,
Lemon.
B.
And Peacekeeper
Last player
opens
standing.
up the site with a kill onto Didray. And now it's all down to Prekstar, who can't even make his way across the middle side. Nano Swarm is gonna deny him off that position. The fragment works beautifully for Prexstar. Chops is down. But there we
10
go.
seconds
He
left.
goes for that push against Marcus. 1
Spike
versus 2.
planted.
Do you have it in you, Prexstar, to save this round for getting out of their hands? Because remember, EMPYREAN, they invested everything into this round. So everything banking on him, on Prexstar now. He has to try and go for the clutch here. Fortunately enough, there is no more Astro Stars to work with, so the smokes are gone. But it's still the crossfire setup against him, so Prexstar forward.
One enemy
Gets
remaining.
one, but he's got no idea where the enemy KO is. Peacekeeper, will he keep the peace tonight? Yes, he will. Shuts down Prexstar for the 3rd round for Nightmare.
Was a really good round by Nightmare right there.
Mm.
'Cause they just 16 shots from his position. He was able to just cut out the rotations coming in from the A side for EMPYREAN, which basically secured his team the side, because the only one left on side was Didray, I believe. And once they took him out, it was just basically game over for EMPYREAN there. And coming into this round, they are going to be going on an eco with a couple of sheriffs and a frenzies. It is going to be a fast rush by Nightmare Phoenix. They are aware of the economic situation, the financial decisions made by
Yeah.
EMPYREAN this round. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a fast B push. They are going to be able to get the spike down pretty safely, and it's a 5v5. Make that a 4v5 retake for EMPYREAN here. 16 shops able to find one down mid.
Yeah, 16 chops' push last round really just made a mark on EMPYREAN's hands, because they were just all waiting for him to push back. Which is why they're all in CC, but now they're all falling down like flies. Lemon good for the one trade against 4. He goes for the bait CP, but can't really get out of that pickle. But yeah, Grammy, you see that positioning from EMPYREAN. They were just waiting for Chops to push down in mid again. But really, it's just the mind game from Nightmare Phoenix. You gotta love it. I mean, it's just the calls from Nightmare Phoenix coming out right now is just absolutely beautiful here in a
Yeah.
sense.
And once again, EMPYREAN are actually going to buy up this round for the 2nd rifle round. Heavy investment once again for them. They have to make something work this round. If not, they're going to just... Nightmare Phoenix is just going to snowball this into a very strong advantage on the attacking side. We did say that Ascent is actually a pretty defender side of map. So EMPYREAN have to make a move to be able to capitalize on this map here.
There we go. The first touch for XBK as Lemon falls. Fear will be able to equalize the manpower for now. Inching forward with the Trailwind active. Northside boy fails the flash, but the dash rather, but doesn't seem to mind at all. Builds out the classic, but Peacekeeper just all knowing this way. They seem to be inching forward down here in a side. Throws out the fragment. Some suppression against Didray. There you go, they're inching forward. They don't really have the flash anymore. There you go, they finally use Didray, closing down, or rather opening up that closed door. And they're gonna get the post plant here, but everyone's pushing up already. XPK from down under picks up 3, and now it's all down to Didray. 1 versus 1 between the Killjoys. Oh, goes for the reload. And 16 chops just way out in the open. And Didray to close out. EMPYREAN 2-4 there. And all the action actually happening down in a site. The first touch, the frag. But at the end of things, EMPYREAN, Didray, absolutely massive performance there. And let's look at the economy here in terms of creds. Well, EMPYREAN, even though they won the round there, Grammy, it's not looking the best.
Yeah, it was so expensive for them that round. They had to make it work for them. I mean, the good thing is they did get the round off, but it was so expensive for them. I do think they do have 4 ultimates to work with this round, especially with Prexstar's the KO right there. I think they'll be able to get the site pretty easily if they are looking to do that. And Didray's ult will be good for the post plant as well.
That is if they get to that point here.
Yeah.
Then they have to press forward first. Nightmare Phoenix, and both lockdowns invested early on means that nobody really will be moving forward unless there's a Hunter's Fury to counter it out. There you go, one player detained. And actually, they take out Plexstar a little bit overzealous on that no command. But either way, they don't get the push up because of the proactivity or the reactivity of that lockdown. And that's already after the fact that Nightmare Phoenix invested 2 ults. But at least they get the first pick off.
Yeah. They are going to be crossing through mid towards Cat, where actually Lemon is waiting. He's going to follow up this angle. And once again, Nightmare Phoenix basically get the site for free.
Yeah. Oh, 60.
Terminated.
And it gets that just by waiting against Fear. So much patience coming out from these
Spike
players.
planted.
North Nightmare Phoenix just capitalize. Pick up AJZ. Didray still refusing to go down. Refusing to give away Heaven now. He gets spotted out. Might be pummeled here by the spams. Thankfully, nobody
grenade
decided to
out.
push against him. He puts out that turret just to deny anyone from getting into that area. But he's down to 43 health now.
One
What
enemy
can you do from
remaining.
behind? Chops inches forward. Now it's all down to Lemon again. Oh, he gets a double headshot, but that's about it. Lemon falls, and Nightmare Phoenix again on the board, and Grammy, they break bank once more.
It's not looking really good for the side of Empyrean here. They invested 2 ults into that round, and it was pretty heavy on them. Unable to convert, unfortunately, as the round does go to Nightmare Phoenix. Who, in terms of economy, they're still pretty stacked. They have money for the next maybe 1 or 2 rounds, even if they lose this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a pretty expensive round for them. They invested so much actually in that past couple of rounds. 2 ults, 3. Oh, Fear.
Spike down mid.
That's not what you want to do when you're playing against a team without any guns. But Fear just gets 2 from the get-go. Tailwinds to safety.
Placing swarm grenade.
Still alive and kicking now. But fortunately, they don't give away the upgrades. Still has a foothold down in Catwalks. Jack number 1 presses on against Lemon.
I have the spike.
Retrieves the spike quite easily because of the fact that it's just a shorty against him, but Fear still at an off angle here. XBK! Oh, he
Pulling
peeks
them in.
away, but thankfully enough, he survives and takes care of Fear as well. But 3 versus 3 now, Grammy. Still no guns for Fear.
I got the spike.
They were unable to
Grenade.
actually retrieve those guns because it was so far out in Cat. But it looks like it's gonna be an A hit for this round. All 3 players are here actually. Hunter's Fury actually gonna be invested to delay the plan, but XPK
Last
and Chops
player
able to find
standing.
2.
Spike down
It's actually
A.
left
30 seconds
in
left.
1v1 against XPK. AJZ, what can you do? A classic against a full rifle here.
1 HP.
Actually, a right click would do the job.
Yeah. It's 1 bullet. It's all gonna boil down to whoever spots who first. Of course, it's a Vandal versus a Classic, but XPK's just got
10 seconds
1
left. I
have the
HP.
spike.
Even though she's got the Cosmic Divide, she's not watching the right angle here. XPK, oh, he's gonna be in trouble. See, he spots him out. The Thrifty took him in for Empyrean, and he picks up the gun as well, of course. Oh, that was beautiful to watch. It started with the shorty, ended with the Classic and Empyrean. Oh, that's gotta sting for Nightmare.
They're actually making those eco rounds work for them really well. This is the second eco they've won actually.
Yeah, that's true.
A really good
Because-
investment into that charty right there by Fear.
Maybe they should just offer the classics.
Yeah.
just don't buy.
Who needs
the op.
rifles?
Who needs an op? Yeah,
Who
Fear's
needs
got
an op? Who needs a
now.
rifle when you have classics and
And
charties?
shorties, yeah, exactly. But Fear again, hoping to anchor down in B site all on his own with that op in hand. He knows that someone always peeks down from mid top, and it seems like this time Jack number 1, if he oversteps his bounds here, might be walking straight into that hand cannon. But look at Nightmare Phoenix. Despite the fact that they lost the second Thrifty of this game, they're still looking pretty good. You said yourself they could probably afford 3 rounds in a row even if they lost, so everyone's still got Vandals and they still have the Cosmic Divide to work with. Actually, it's the aggression this time. They're down in the lane. Unfortunately, Chops is ready for it, playing that safe angle for the longest time now as the op shot resonates, but doesn't really find its mark as of yet. Fear, Tailwind's out for now. Finally gets detected by the knife, but nobody falling as of yet, Grammy.
Yeah, they're playing this default pretty well. Like the defender side is really disciplined too. As I say that they're pushing out right now. What is going on with Castles? Because Frank's not able to find chops,
Oh,
even though he's playing so safely. That's the first pick of the round going to Empyrean.
yeah, actually, Empyrean, they play Nightmare's game. They opt for the default. And they double peek Chops, which is something that really they've never done before. They make it happen.
Yeah.
Chops is now down. That's the Lurk Watcher gone. Rotate coming through actually might not be the best idea here with everyone moving down into B side. So that's a turret gonna be deactivated.
You are
Oh, it is still
divided.
active. Pretty good job right here. They take care of it. Activate the Cosmic Divide. So Northside
Spike
Boy
drop.
leading
30
the charge
seconds
here.
left.
Drops the spike. They dashes into the site. And if he picked this, he might just walk into the crosshair of Didray. Oh, knife spots them out. Actually, Didray cancel it with the flash. Peacekeeper down. Northside Boy still in that switch, but he goes down. So now it's a 2 versus 4. Next BK and Jack number 1 have a lot of work ahead of them. Next BK
Player
peeks,
standing.
gets 1, that's about it. And KJC goes it down to 3K in Empyrean. The op didn't really hit it smart, but they close off the round eventually.
Yeah. I think Nightmare Phoenix had the right read to go for a B push right there as Empyrean were rotating off actually.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I don't think they were fast enough to capitalize on that, or maybe they could have waited a little bit longer just so more players would be leaning towards that A side.
Perhaps. That's actually true. Prexter was mid-rotation, so
Yeah.
was Didray, but props to Didray. Stayed in range of that turret for the entire time, which gave them that idea that even though the Cosmic Divide really nullified all the info, there was still a turret there. Essentially what they gave it away, the push of the op again.
Placing swarm
For Fear
grenade.
really has to
Swarm
find
grenade
those
out.
kills
Out of
soon.
charges.
Chops. Oh, he finds a nook that doesn't get hit by an Nano Swarm there. Pretty scary, but it's a 3-man stack. Now, of course, only 1 man getting discovered, but now they know there's at least 2 people there with Chops. Or at least 1 person there with Chops.
Yeah. And as the spike is actually making its way towards B, just 2 people holding on to site here with Prexstar and Didray. No nano swarms really to work with to delay the plant. The pinks are actually gonna come through from mid. Maybe they suspect 16 shot the mid once again, but Northside Boy actually once again dashing in towards side. Pinks actually goes good for 2.
Wow. Shut it down
down
the
one
offense.
enemy
Here we go.
remaining.
Didray pushing up again for the second time. He's asserting his dominance on this defense, and the shot number 1 just good for the 1 kill. But Tyrion, it was a pretty decisive push right there for Peacekeeper and the rest of the Nightmare Phoenix gang. I mean, pretty understandable considering they had the no command, so they decided to push things quicker this time. But the sight hold from Didray, just too much.
Didray and Prexstar. Prexstar
Yeah.
actually found 2 in
Yeah.
his position there.
Ugh. Amazing job here in B site. But at the end of things, Grammy, we're still at a 5-5 scoreline here. And both teams looking pretty good in terms of eco, both ult-wise and creds-wise. So this round definitely a pivotal one for Nightmare Phoenix, as they're the ones with a lot
Yeah.
to lose as they should go to the next one down. Hit a site, nullifying Lemon. Hunter's Fury up there as well. And they shut down 2. Northside amazing with the blades. Picks up the op, so this post-plan is going to be so much easier with the op.
Holding towards this heaven position as Didray and Prexstar rotating from the B side. Ready for the retake. They do have 2 ultimates to work with, the lockdown and the null
yeah.
command.
Initiated.
And there's the lockdown coming out.
Can't use that.
No command. Not being activated yet, just a knife to force them out of there with the lock. Oh, and there might be a lineup here. They push up Didray, and that's the op gone. And now they're going for the defuse, and Didray is just holding the line right now. Can
enemy
they get it
remaining.
off? Yes, they do! Jack number 1!
Last player standing.
for the 3K,
Last
and
round
it
before the
closes down the
switch.
round. That looks so good for Didre and Pregstar, but they lined up. And Jack number 1 just all it took was a single peek and a couple of bullets, and it closed the round for Nightmare. Whoa, what a showing!
It was just really unfortunate for Empyrean there. The Ray and Fragstar, they just lined up. They were just in the line of fire of
Yeah.
Jack number 1's gun. It looks like it is gonna be a fast A hit this time.
Oh, they're going for the
Retake.
Omen Wolf just for that information to check if it's a bait actually, but no, they're opting for the retake instead. They're looking for Chops. It's a manhunt, but Fear. If you check this corner, yes he does. Chops goes down, and now that's mid control away from the hands of Empyrean, or rather from Nightmare. As Empyrean activates that no command. This time it's a 5-man stack happening in a site. Everyone bringing up one from mid. No one's actually watching this. And finally, at some point, this lurk is going to pan its way, but it's not even called upon. Lemon and Vexstar close it out.
Turret out.
Back and forth we go here, Grammy. And we're back to square one, 6-6.
6-6. And we're back into the pistol round, the second pistol round. Of this
Switching
game.
sides.
Oh my gosh.
How likely do you think an overtime is gonna happen? I don't want to curse this again. But like, at this point,
I would say 1% probability. Yeah.
1%.
Yeah. 1%. I'm calling it at that. Even one. Okay, let's say 2%. You know?
I'm
2%
gonna touch
probability.
wood just so that I don't call it accidental overtime.
Touch wood? Is it really touch? Oh, where I'm from, isn't it knock on wood?
It's knock on wood. We say touch wood, I think.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, here we say
I
knock
mean-
on wood. Knock on wood. Hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, 2% probability here. We're banking on that. Shock dart goes big.
Swarm grenade
Tags
out.
2 members. But Chops, of course, is here with the Sova. That is Jack number 1. Here comes Execute coming in. Fear with no fear, but a little bit too much courage right there. As he gets picked up by Chops. Northside Boy already down here. The quick rotate for the quick 2K into the third. Tailwind's in. He wants Lemon. He's out for blood, but a little bit too much going on there. But Lemon, is the right click gonna be enough for the 2K? Yes, it will. Down to 6 health now as he gets peeked by XBK, but all it takes is one straight bullet, and it's gonna be enough. Lemon goes down. But it was K for a second there for Nightmare Phoenix. But it's so quick on the rotate there, Nightmare Phoenix. Perhaps the player for Empyrean is go for the bait, because Nightmare, they were all running to be sight with the first sound cue that they heard.
Yeah. And Northside Boy actually went big with his sheriff right there, able to find 3 kills.
Just confident showing right now from Nightmare Phoenix, particularly Northside Boy. He
Placing
dashed
sentry.
into all of them.
He was looking for the 4th actually.
Yeah, I was looking for the 4K.
That's
but
straight into the KO molly.
yeah. Oh, actually just dodges that shock dart. Beautiful job right there. Amazing footwork. Goss has the marshal in hand. All it takes is one tap. Nobody invested on their armors. And he spots the
Spike
spike as
down
well.
mid.
So he's going to push this up for sure. Northside Boy, he's a confident man. And he knows that someone is looming in tree. AJZ. Oh, he's stuck between the rock and the hard place. He doesn't know where to go now. The spike has been retrieved. And Northside Boy actually hears this. Is he going to push this up? Peacekeeper. He knows that someone's still in that area because AJC is yet to make his way out of there. Tailwind's in. AJC. Oh, the timing might not work out there for Peacekeeper. As XPK gonna be meeting everyone pushing in. Fear the first. Pregstar the second. And now Peacekeeper's down here in the
Last
site.
player
Marshall
standing.
shot connects finally for AJZ. And now again, it's all down to Lemon on a 1 versus 5. Frenzy in
30
hand.
seconds left.
No lurk against him. But what can he do here?
Looks
I'd-
familiar.
Yeah, but I doubt he'll be able to do anything. Oh, he's gonna go for it. He wants to peek this so bad, Grammy. He's gonna use the dark cover and then peek against
10
Peacekeeper. He's
seconds
got no
left.
idea that everyone's here. And it's the Flawless. The follow right after. I mean, of course, it's just the bonus round for Nightmare Phoenix, so be pretty happy walking off of that one without really losing anything. As far as
Yeah.
bonuses go, that really is as good as it can get.
And actually, Empyrean actually gonna have a rifles for the next round. So if in the case now Fenix is able to make this work in their favor once again, they're gonna have probably the next 2 rounds in the bag.
That's an if and a half here. Grimmy. So, who knows? Here comes Northside Boy pushing up with the tailwind. He's gonna get 2. No! Rexter shuts it down, but it's XPK who does! And Chops presses on as well, and everyone pushing up! Whoa! The round's done!
Oh, fastest round ever. This is just any percent speed run right now.
And they pick up 3 guns as well!
Yeah.
What just happened right there? Oh, the confidence from Nightmare. And Empyrean, they know that Empyrean, they've really done their homework here, Zach. I mean, sorry, Grammy. I'm sorry there. They know that Empyrean is such a default-heavy team.
Let's crack them open.
And what's the answer to a default-heavy team? Everyone pushing on the defense, it seems like.
Peacekeeper with the flash to support Northside Boy for that round just now.
Yeah. Gotta admire the key coordination. The knife actually spots them all out, Grammy. Are they gonna push this?
Looking good for them.
Yeah.
You are powerless.
Oh, they're pushing
They are
in. They
actually
activate the
gonna-
null command. Tailwind's in. Frenzy in hand. Fear still pressing on. 36 health. 20 now and counting, but he still gets a kill. And what is this? They turn it right around. It's another Thrifty, it looks like, here
Spike
for
planted.
Empyrean this time. But unless Chops and Jock #1 dig deep and scrounge this up. But there goes the first touch. Relatively healthy Jack #1 stays,
Last
but he
player
doesn't get
standing.
another kill after the fact. Chops. Low health bars. All it takes is 1 bullet each apiece for these 2 members. But all they have to do is peek at the same time and get the shots in. But Chops making a lot of noise as he picks up Pexstar. It's all down to AJZ now to scrounge up this round, save it from falling apart. But it takes just 1 swing and Chops
Don't
all
interrupt
good
my
and
work.
ready for it. Nightmare Phoenix 4 ahead. Double digits is accomplished.
Clutch.
What a round!
Yeah.
It looked like it was on the favor for Empyrean for a second there. Until Chops came in and just, I guess, just chopped everyone up
True.
with that Vandal.
It was a 2 versus 4, I believe, at the post.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. It really is a statement that you can't be too safe in these rounds. No matter how much advantage you've already picked up, no matter how good your positioning is. You can't really be too confident at what you've accomplished so far in that round. Towards Northside Boy with an operator. The bank is looking all done, all good here for Oh, good opening pick for Northside Boy as well. And again, the default not really working out for Empyrean this time. Oh! Finds another as well! He activates a tailwind again. And now he's looking for more here. Oh, he finds his mark 3rd time in a row. Northside Boy, when is it going to stop? Peacekeeper falls, but Northside Boy has been having a blast with this op. Anyone else up for the challenge of this op? Northside Boy is like, bring it on.
He is gonna rotate towards Cat here though.
Yeah.
With 40 seconds on the clock, it does seem like it's gonna be a B hit for Empyrean here.
They have to. I mean, they don't have the time to rotate now.
Yeah, but 16 Chops has
30
the
seconds
lockdown.
left.
Shutting them down.
They activate the utility. That's a lot of noise being made, and lockdown still not called upon. Nano Swarm's in. They still have to take down Chop, so this is a looming terror for them. They have to take care of him if they want to get the spike plan off. There goes the lockdown being committed now.
One
On the
enemy
tables
remaining.
have turned. The Northside Boy is already here for the ace. He closed it down. All kills going for the off, and the investment finally paying off.
Thanks. Ace.
You should have seen your face.
We talked about this, right? The jet pick in mid with the operator.
Yeah, we did. But you can. How can you predict an ace? There's just no way.
That's true.
Instantly takes the stage by storm, and suddenly we have a landslide in our hands. Remy, 5 rounds in a row, Nightmare has won, and they don't seem to be slowing down.
EMPYREAN actually gonna force it up this round looking at the buys.
Yeah, they don't really want to give the match point away.
Yeah.
Oh, but Didre somewhat gives their position off with the jumps there. Aggressive positioning from XBK. Let's see if this is actually gonna work out in their favor. Well, the flash do come in. That's gonna signal the push about to happen in a side. Beautiful flash from Peacekeepers. XBK picks up Fear.
We got to
Still
stop
at the
obscuring
aggress
vision.
on Wine. Have to push up now. Nebulous Smoke already helping him. So EMPYREAN, they pick up the man advantage, and now they commit the lockdown.
Yeah, but this should give them an almost free side unless Jack is able to make anything out of his position. Unable to do anything, unfortunately, as he falls back for the 3v4 retake.
Not really.
Spike hasn't gone down yet, though.
Finally going down. Not really the best at retakes, no matter how good your
Spike
performance
planted.
is. So Northside Boy really has to work for this, but he doesn't really get anything. He gets taken down. Still 2 versus 3, 1 HP left. Oh, beautiful paranoia. Buys so much time here. So that's the recon vault. Jack number 1 can't even push up. But what is that recon? Beautiful stuff right here from the Sova. Chop still terrorizing down from tree. And that's 2 members down. Unanswered
One enemy
4.
remaining.
Didre finally makes noise down from hell. And Lemon does as well from a main. The op finally finished out from Nightmare Fenix, but is the damage done? Can EMPYREAN bounce back? And is there enough room for them to do so? That's the question here, Grammy.
Yeah, they live to fight another day, but if they really want to be able to secure this game, in fact, they have to be able to win this next round right here.
Snuff them out.
So close at match point. Nightmare Phoenix, they could smell it. As again, they have so much confidence on Northside Boys op. I mean, look at the man. He's pushing up. Recon Bolt and the Killjoy backup as well. Everyone's just banking on this op. But meanwhile, EMPYREAN, they're all aware. They know the op is in B main. No one is peeking that anytime soon. Slowly aggressing up against tree though. Aldron making some noise. Tailwind's in. There goes the knife as well. So that's the presence not protected yet. 3-man stack. 1 in hell. XBK. Good for the first. And now the splash not really working out for Plexstar, but at least he does find one. And it's the hold from XBK. So good. At least they do have Spike still, but Didre might be in a tough spot right now. Recon Bolt comes out. They're still here. Number
enemy
1
remaining.
might not be ready for it. And he is! He closes it out! Wow! What a hold right there for XBK and Jack. 12-7 match point. And it's looking like a
Match
done deal
point.
for Nightmare.
I'm like, I don't know what to say. That hold from XBK was just amazing from his position in hell there. No one was able to clear him out. Like, there were like 2 people peeking him, and he's just, nope, I am rock. I am here.
Yeah. It was so...
Get out of my way.
Oh, you're actually going for this aggressive peek. You have the Blade Storm. I'm unable to find anything though.
Oh, Hopsu does. Lemon falls, and that's one of the hero buys here. One of the only assault rifles that they have. Fear looking for the avenge. He goes for the tailwind in, but he doesn't get the knives off.
That's
You
done.
have to hit your shots when you do it that. When you do that, Fear. But now, 2 members down for EMPYREAN, and they decide that they're just gonna commit to B side here. Remy. Oh.
Rexla actually good for one with the
Yeah.
that hit tap onto Northside Boy. But Didri actually lurking up Garden. Unable to capitalize on it, unfortunately, as Peacekeeper takes him out. as the spike rotates from mid towards the A side.
Stinger in the hands of AJZ. So he's doing the charge now, just for the trade to come in. This is being played very beautifully by Pector and AJZ. What much can they do against this Oslo? It seems like they can press the issue.
30
They
seconds
take
left.
out Peacekeeper, but no command still emitting waves. XBK on the hold. Can he repeat it 2 times in a row?
One
It seems
enemy
like
remaining.
so far it's a yes. All he has to do is close it down. Is take down Pexter. But there you go, Jack number 1 with the
Defenders
Odin,
win.
picking up round number 13 and game 1 for Nightmare Phoenix.
What a game from both sides. It was so close for. In the first half, it looked like it was going to be a really, really close fight.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, Nightmare Phoenix able to close out the game there with that. I think it was like a 5-round lead immediately
Mhm.
after the side change.
Yeah, it was.
And XBK
Mhm.
match MVP with his amazing side holds,
I
as we saw
mean,
just now.
yeah, it means like it seems like XBK and Chops for that matter. They
Yeah.
whatever they did in that halftime, I want to do it too because they just became online seemingly out of nowhere. Grammy, they got a newfound rhythm and they just started dominating the game right there. And Nightmare Phoenix definitely showing us why they picked Ascent and why they're a force to be reckoned with in that map. Now though, we're going into Breeze, and this is another map that Phoenix pulled another Uno reverse card against Ace Esports in the semifinals. So I wonder what EMPYREAN is absolutely going to do here. But before we go to that, we'll just be having a short break. If you're just tuning in, my name is Zayd. I'm casting here today with Remy. We'll see you guys with Updraft Grand Finals week number 5 after the short break. Welcome back, folks. You're still watching Updraft. This is week number 5, and this is the grand finals here. You're still with us, Datum and Grammy. And what a game number 1 there, Grammy. It started off, well, pretty even, to say the least.
Hmm.
Nobody was flinching. We closed down the first half in a 6-6 scoreline, but when Nightmare Phoenix went to the defense, it was a completely different story there.
Yeah, it was like they just came online
Yeah.
completely with that. They got 5 rounds in a row off
Mm,
of Empyrean. A really
yeah.
dominant showing on the attacking side, especially since we did say that Ascent was going to be pretty defender sided.
Yeah,
They really just capitalized on that fact, I think.
yeah, that's true. It is the strength of their composition either way. They do have the Astra and the Killjoy, essentially a double
Hmm.
sentinel, if I might say so. But now it's a completely different story because, well, Empyrean, they can, or rather Phoenix, they can't really go for the Astra as effectively as they did in Breeze, as they do now in Ascent. So um, eh, eh, what do you think are going to change here? Because Empyrean, we have yet to see them. We've seen them play in Breeze before, and this is where they turned it around against Word.exe, their adversary in the semifinal. And let me run you through what their composition was. They had a Breeze into a Raze, actually, into a Sova, a Jet, and a Viper. So, or rather, sorry, it was a Chamber into a KO, into a Sova, Jet, Viper. So, um, it seems to me like they have a pretty defined strategy when it comes to Breeze because they were pretty good. They were pretty coordinated in Breeze. They were able to effectively shut down the aggression from Word.exe. So it begs the question: do you think here that Empyrean will be able to turn it around against Nightmare Phoenix?
Well, that's the thing. Even though they might be able to turn it around, there's a chance that Nightmare Phoenix is able to come back, as we saw on
Yeah.
the other semifinals against Ace Esports. They actually were they were down 2-10, but they actually just dominated on the attacking half, taking 11 rounds in a row actually.
Mm. They didn't even let Ace Esports get a single round
Yeah.
in the second half. I mean, it's very reminiscent of the Ascent game earlier as well. Definitely is a trademark from Nightmare Phoenix at this point. They love gunning for the comeback. And just when you think they're not gonna come back anymore, well, they pulled the trigger and it's the Uno reverse card. Sorry, folks, we are having some technical delay here because, well, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. But no matter, we will be starting the game pretty soon for you. But while we're at it, let me tell you about our sponsors here. This event, of course, is co-organized with Cyberport, the go-to creative digital community with a cluster of technologies and digital content titans in Hong Kong. It's sponsored, of course, by Vertigear and Shop. Speaking of Vertigear and Shop, we do have 2 giveaways ongoing. One of those is a $200 giveaway sponsored by Shop. That's in VP, of course, and we have another one. If you want to win a free Vertigear chair and you are from either Singapore or Brunei, you have a chance to do so. Just type exclamation point giveaway in chat and follow all of the instructions, guys, and you will have a chance to win a Vertigear chair. That's right, for absolutely free. And for those of you who are free agents who are looking to be pro or are looking for orgs to play for, we have a brand new platform for you guys, especially specifically for free agents. Check out gg.kjcesports.com. Again, gg.kjcesports.com, or you can type gg exclamation point GGKJC Esports, no spaces, all small caps in chat. And we'll bring up the link for you. It's a platform for free agents currently looking for an organization to pick them up. And it pretty soon, actually, we are going to expand. It's currently on the beta stages, so it's only going to cater free agents looking for orgs. But pretty soon, we will be adding the option of orgs being creating rather accounts in the platform, and we also plan on expanding towards analysts and casters. So yeah, make sure to check it out. Now, if you are a free agent, it's absolutely going to help you out. And now we're going to start the game once more. And when it comes to the agent select here, Grammy, what are you expecting here? Because in Breeze, there's sort of like requirements, right, in terms of agents.
Yeah, it's such an open map that a chamber is definitely really good on this map, especially with the tour de force, basically an operator, a buffed operator in your hand right there. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think we are gonna see the chamber pick come out. Jet is also a really, really good pick if you're looking for a duelist on this map. And in terms of information, I think a Sova or Sky would be pretty good as well.
Absolutely. But Empyrean, this is not the first time we will be seeing them on the breeze. So the last time they actually went for a composition that was very similar to what we saw in Ascent. They went for a Sova into a KO, which does make a lot of sense. Now, um, it makes the question: are they actually going to go for that instead of going for the double duelist? I mean, AJZ is of course their initiator or a dedicated initiator player, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do now. Yeah, so Empyrean, I would expect them to go for the same composition here. Nightmare
Select
Phoenix,
your
this is also the
agent.
second time we're seeing them on Breeze. They actually changed things up a bit. The last time we saw them, they went for actually as yeah, they went for a chamber instead of arena, but this time they're putting a little bit more confidence on XPK off the back of that Astra performance in a sense. They put him on the Reina here, Grammy. That's a lot of
I mean,
versatility there. Yeah, from an Astra
he's
to a
having a good
Reina.
day. He looks like he's having a pretty good day. So
That's true.
I think why not, right? If he can
Mm,
frag out, if he can capitalize on taking those first fights, holding down the site, especially with the Empress, it would be really, really good
mhm.
if you're in a 1v many situation for him right there.
It's just statement as well when you I gotta admit, Nightmare Phoenix, they look pretty good on the first half of Ascent, even though the scoreline doesn't reflect it. But just dominating the second half like that in such a close matchup just really is a statement to how much prep goes into that particular map, into that particular comp that they have. And now we're going to be seeing them again on Breeze, where they did have a pretty similar performance as they did in a sense. So I really wonder here, Grammy, just what Empyrean is going to show us because they picked this map and they put Nightmare on defense too. So it really seems to me like Empyrean, it's either they have something that's completely gonna blow this Breeze map out of the water for Nightmare Phoenix, or maybe they really just aren't prepared, quite frankly, for Breeze for Nightmare Phoenix. But again, we're gonna have to wait and see. I have to apologize again, folks, that we're having some technical difficulty. I mean, at this point, it's kind of expected, right? I mean, with these sort of setups. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about this new sort of meta coming into play here. The
Hmm.
changes to Jet, bit of a nerf into Sova, and then of course gotta address the fade in the room. Fade. So for those of you who don't know, Jet, of course, well, everyone knows this, of course. Jet's tailwind is now reworked so that you have to activate it first before you can dash away. And then Sova got a mini nerf to the shock dart. They reduced the damage to the shock dart actually. So I think now if you have full armors and Sova has got to hit you right smack in the center
Yeah.
with the shock dart before falling down, and then you got, of course, the introduction of Fate. So, what are your thoughts on all of this, Grammy? What do you think the implications are going to be to the meta, all in all?
Well, you mentioned a Sova nerf, right? Not only did his shock darts get nerfed, his Hour
Mm.
Drone and I think Recon Build also got a slight nerf as well. Hour Drone only pings twice now if you tag the enemy and
Oh,
has a shorter
yeah, yeah.
duration. So with Fade coming out, I think we're gonna see a lot more of Fade on smaller maps, say maybe Split or Bind, but on maps that are wide open like Breeze here, I still think Sova is the go-to.
Yeah, I think, me personally, I think, I'm not really sure. I'm not really decided yet for Fade because Uh, I just making some quick comparisons here. For example, the ulti between Fade and Breach, right? Because they're the most similar. They're two of,
Yeah.
or the only two rather, that are sort of AOE effects, area of effect effects, ultimates in in the game. But Breach's ultimate is just so much more oppressive in the sense that it just really
Yeah.
tumbles you across the map literally. But I really don't know. Like, it's more of like they're trying to meet a sky and a breach, or rather a Sova and a breach halfway, and then combining it in one small package. But in that sense, I actually think that Fade really does a poor job compared to a Sova when it comes to the information gathering,
Yeah.
and then a poor job compared to a breach when it comes to the suppression. But combined together, I don't know. Is the sum greater? Is the sum of the parts greater than the whole? Or or how does the
I
expression go?
think
I don't. Yeah, I'm not really convinced here, Grammy. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, definitely. I mean, it is. I mean, I understand your point.
Mm,
Like, definitely, Breach has still his utility is just very, very oppressive, especially if you're playing. I mean, if you're playing him on defense or offense,
mm,
it's still very oppressive. Able to shut down and clear out many, many angles with his aftershock and his fault line.
mhm.
But I think for Fade, I think if you're running a double initiator, Fade would be a really good pick, especially like, let's say you're running Fade with a Breach, Fade with maybe
KO perhaps.
KO, yeah.
Mm,
Like the decay on her abilities, it does 75 damage.
mhm,
So I think combined with certain utilities, maybe Brimstone out
mhm.
or Aftershock, it can be very, very strong as well.
Absolutely. But we'll have to wait and see because these things,
Yeah.
I would argue, it takes time. Sort of like how it took a little bit of time for people to get used to Neon, while arguably Neon is still not that good to say the least. Um, I would think it's a little bit different for initiators, right? Because
Mm,
or for example, for something like a Sova, Sova has been pretty solid ever since season zero, or rather Act Zero, or since day zero rather. But over time, Sova just kept getting better and better and better and better because people just learned how to play Sova. Right?
yeah.
They learned lineups, and yeah, they finally figured out how to make the most out of the OT. So I guess there really is just a learning curve when it comes to initiators in particular. But having said that, the same is true. That same concept is already being applied now to Fade. I mean, people are already learning the lineups anyway, and people are already figuring out what Fade strong suits are and her weaknesses are. So it's only a matter of time before we see just how much a Fade can come into fruition, especially with the next stage of VCT about to start in a few weeks, I believe. But one of the things, speaking of agents now, and the buffs and nerfs and just how strong they are, you cannot deny the fact the chamber is absolutely powerful right now,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
definitely.
uh I believe chamber is the sole reason why people are shying away from the double duelist, because why have arena when you can have a chamber instead, right?
Yeah. I
So
mean, his teleport just lets him get back to safety.
mm,
His trademark just act basically like killjoy alarm bots with no range at all. So you can be like on one side of the map and your trademark is on the other side, still holding down the site
mm.
and gathering information there.
Yeah, but one of the things up for debate here, I mean, because undoubtedly chamber needs an adjustment, right? I
Yeah.
mean, especially with the jet nerf, chamber is now the single best operator user in the entire game. I mean, there's just no contest to it. Uh while a jet can still use an op, essentially now with the changes to the tailwind, chamber is essentially a jet with a permanent tailwind, right? But of course only more proficient on the defense, but that's always been the case for a chamber. So one of the things that has been up for debate here, Grammy, is what is the best way to actually nerf a chamber? What do you think? Because honestly, for me, I think it's just the survivability of
Yeah.
the rendezvous. I think if they just
Yeah.
adjust
Yeah.
it a little bit, I would argue if they only made it so that he can rendezvous if he gets a kill, I think that's the perfect nerf for something like the perfect
Mm.
adjustment for a chamber.
Actually, yeah, that would make him basically a Reina and a Jet mixed
That's
together.
true. That's true.
But yeah,
But
I do agree with you.
mm,
Maybe something with the cooldown as well.
mm-hmm.
Because right now it's just 20 seconds and it's up and running again for you.
That's true. It's like even if you don't even use the rendezvous, right? You can recall it and then put
Yeah.
it at different sites and then set up camp there. I mean, you don't. It's so good. Really one of the most uh one of the most frequently usable mobility skills in the game. It's even maybe a Yoru comes close because he does have two charges now,
Mm.
but Yoru has never really been meta. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love seeing Yoru, right? I mean, who doesn't love seeing Yoru? Who doesn't love the Paper Rex playstyle in Bind where they do bring it up every once in a while? But let's face it, Yoru hasn't been in the best of shapes, even with the adjustment to his uh, kit.
Yeah.
But speaking of wants and can be seen, what do you want to see here going into Breeze, Grammy? Because we said earlier how there are sort of rules or sort of beset of rules when it comes to the agent
Mm.
compositions here in Breeze. You absolutely have to have a Viper
Yeah.
and have to have information on that Sova as well. And Chamber's pretty good here too, but what would you like to see in Breeze?
Honestly, I just want to see Yoru. On any map, just
I
pick
got
a
you on the
Yoru.
Yoru hype train, huh?
I love watching people play Yoru because
Mm,
I just think because we don't see him much in pro play especially, it's
mhm.
just really interesting and I think it's really creative what the things that people can do with his kit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, it's one of the things. It's I don't know what, but something about the way a Yoru plays, a Yoru player plays Yoru makes him so flashy, right? It's like
Yeah.
even the simplest of plays, like for example, he was in his ulti and then he flashes and then he comes out of the ult. It looks impressive for some reason it does, even though it's not really that fancy. Even though you don't have to make those. I mean, while you can make fancy moves with Yoru, even if you don't, it looks amazing, and that's absolutely one of the things that is it's so good to see with the Yoru. But more to the point here, Grammy, what I'm just curious here. I'm just thinking of points to talk about
Mhm.
now. What is your favorite agent here in Valorant?
Favorite I as a I'm a field player, so I don't really have a favorite, but I really enjoy playing Jet and Reina.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I used to be sort of a controller player,
Hmm.
but my in terms of playstyle, I don't think I suit controllers really well, especially the fact that you need to survive to be able to smoke for your team as well. I am too. I need to move. I need to take fights.
Hmm.
I need. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I sort of get that sentiment, right? There's something about challenging angles and pushing
Yeah.
up
Yeah. Yeah.
that really, I don't know, makes you better, honestly. Because honestly, for me, I find that very accurate too. Like more often than not, you would think that just holding an angle and waiting for someone to peek you would automatically give you an advantage, right?
Mm.
But I don't know. There's something about uh dry peaking and Ferrari peaking angles that just really ups your performance. Maybe it's just me, but maybe it's just you and me, Grammy. But there's something about that really makes it so that it just feels different. Right? It feels different. But
Yeah.
sorry again, I have to apologize to our viewers who are just waiting, but still we are experiencing some delay here. So we'll be trying to fix it as fast as we can, folks. Meanwhile, let me ask, how's everyone's evenings going? How's your evening going, Grammy?
I am very warm in this. There's no
Oh,
aircon, but I mean,
please
watching
don't
the
trigger
map
me
fires
about
me
the
out
heat. I mean,
even
oh,
more.
the heat here.
Oh
What's the weather
no,
there? How's the weather there, by the way, where you're from? Right.
it's hot. It's just hot. There's rain, hot sprinkled with rain. That's
That's
basically it.
sprinkled with rain. I mean, I can imagine as someone from a tropical country, I could absolutely imagine. But yeah, it's been really hot in where I'm from as well. Every
Mm.
single day is a struggle. Essentially, the moment you go out, you're burning. That's
So you know the meme. This is fine.
yeah,
It's just a
exactly.
dog burning in
Exactly. It's
the
drinking
heat.
drinking coffee too. I mean,
Yeah.
me for example, I'm one of those people who just will drink coffee no matter how hot it is. It's not gonna be iced coffee either. It's just gonna be
What?
straight up coffee. Yeah, I mean, I need my caffeine. Don't you? Don't you need your
But
caffeine?
iced coffee.
I mean,
Ice.
yeah, I like iced coffee, Grammy. Okay, but I can't have iced coffee for my breakfast. I have to have it hot, no matter how hot
Listen,
the
listen.
morning.
I mean, you can have whatever you want for breakfast, okay? There are no rules to breakfast
Okay,
as long as you have it.
let's agree to disagree. I don't want to get political, Hillegram. Yeah. When it comes to, I know people can have pretty strong opinions when it comes to coffee, but for me personally, I like my hot coffee. Okay, here's why. I'm gonna
Okay,
explain
okay.
here why.
I'm listening.
I don't want. Okay, I'm gonna be giving a bit of a disclaimer here. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be hated on, but where I'm from. Okay, so I don't know what meals are like where you're from, Grammy, right? But
Hmm.
where I'm from, we love rice, right? And for breakfast, we love eggs. And typically, the typical breakfast here where I'm from is there's fried rice, then there's eggs, and then there's some sort of processed meat, for example. For example, like I don't know, bacon, right?
Mm.
Or we have a thing here called tapa. It's basically fried barbecue. And you know what the best thing is? The best thing is pouring your coffee on your rice and then eating
Oh,
the eggs and the bacon. Yeah, I know it's a controversial take.
this is a
It's not
culture
for
shock for me. Oh,
I know. It's culture shock for a lot of people, but from where I'm from, actually, that's pretty common.
no, you know
So
what the
that's
best thing is? I don't even like coffee.
okay. 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 Anyway, the voices in my head are talking here, Gummy. We can stop talking about coffee now. And they're
Okay, okay.
saying that unfortunately we cannot continue any further with the grand finals because, well, Nightmare Phoenix is or rather Empyrean is unable to return to the lobby because of technical difficulty. So that's it, folks. Ugh, it's unfortunate that we're ending here. Such an anticlimactic here end, but there you have it. The winners of our grand final for week 5 of Updraft is Nightmare Phoenix off the back of that one win in the first map in Ascent. But man, in that one game, they had such a spectacular performance though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, that's it, Grammy. If I've ever forgotten anything, make sure to give us some love before we head off into the night. KJC Esports, we're everywhere. We have a website at kjecesports.com, and we're at all socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. We're there. We pump out a lot of content as well on YouTube. Check that out if you want to get acquainted with the esports scene, particularly the C esports scene in Valorant. And special thanks to our sponsors and co-organizers, Cyberport, Vertigear, and Coda Shop, and that's it for us tonight. Datum here with Grammy saying good night. See you again, guys, next week because we'll be having week 6 of Updraft. And before that, well, this is us saying good night and see you again next week.